I know exactly what you're thinking. You are a bourbon lover and maybe you haven't tried that much Scotch in the past. Maybe you've tried a little bit of Scotch in the past and would like to know more. Or maybe you're thinking that this could be another avenue of whiskey that you could really enjoy in the future. Maybe this is a gateway for you. Who knows? Either way, my name is Dani and I am extremely excited that I am officially part of Whisky Raiders. And today I am going to show you 3 Scotch whiskies that I believe every bourbon lover should try because maybe you'll love them. Now, I am not here to persuade you. I want the whiskies to do the talking. I've gone for 3 pretty different styles. Bourbon tends to be sweeter than Scotch, so I haven't gone for anything that strays too far from that. I've tried to go for things which are a little bit more mellow so that as you're beginning, you're not going to get too much of a shock to the system. I've also gone for things which aren't too high of an ABV. I really want you to be able to appreciate the Scotch flavours without just a massive alcohol burn rush to your taste buds. I've also tried to go for things which are in a reasonable-ish price point. If you're just starting to try Scotch for the first time, you don't want to be spending hundreds of pounds or dollars on whiskey. So I've tried to go for things which are, you know, kind of mid-range, great whiskies, but you know, are not gonna break the bank completely. As I say, the 3 whiskies I've chosen are pretty different styles, so make sure you watch all the way through to find if something sounds like it might be interesting for you to try first. The first whiskey I have chosen is the Edredour 10-year-old. Now, Edredour is a tiny little distillery in the Highlands. It's not that well known, and I don't hear that many people talking about it, but actually they produce some really great drams. And that is my favourite sound in the world. Now, this matured in a combination of Oloroso sherry casks and bourbon casks. So if you're a bourbon lover, this is, you know, there's going to be a little bit of taste of home in there, but the strong note, the strong flavour in this is going to be the Oloroso cask influence. Straight away on the nose, I am getting rich sherry notes, so dark chocolate, dried fruit, some citrus. This is a very classically sherried Scotch. I'm definitely getting a little bit of spice on the nose there. It's lovely and sweet, and actually, to me, this is the smell of Christmas, which I don't know if that's something you would like to hear at this point of the year where it's supposed to be starting to be spring. For the sake of science, I'm gonna have to give it a sip. Slancha. Oh, the Oloroso just gives it that beautiful sweet toffee. There are notes of honey, there's some vanilla on there, and the finish is just this gorgeous spice that just sort of sits on your tongue and just you can feel it at the back of your throat. This is such a classic sherry style Scotch. It's just great. That's not a great description. It's just easy to drink, something you could easily just sit and finish this whole glass without thinking twice. Not too much of a burn on there, as I said, really classic, absolutely delicious and very typical Scotch style. The next whiskey I'm going to talk about is the Deanston 12-year-old. Now, Deanston is another Highland distillery. I literally have the tiniest bit left, but of course, I am going to have to try it for you guys. Deanston is another Highland distillery and they are known for their particularly waxy whiskies. They have a very distinctive style. I am a big fan of Deanston whiskies. They do a few whiskies with pretty cool finishes, which I'm a fan of, but for today, this one is finished in ex-bourbon casks. So again, should be close to home for you if you don't want to stray too far into Scotch whiskey and you want something quite familiar. Maybe try something which was finished solely in a bourbon cask. There's a lot of vanilla on the nose here. It's quite nice and spicy as well, but in like a cinnamon way rather than a very peppery way. The ABV on this one is 46%, so it's a little bit higher than the Edredour, which was 40%. Let's try it. Slancha. It's still lovely and smooth. It's got quite like peachy, fruity notes. It's quite light and floral, so a very different style, a lot more summery, I would say, than the Edredour, but still delightful, very refreshing, easy to drink, just like the Edredour. You could easily sit and sip this on a summer's day, with a barbecue, not at a barbecue, just inside doing nothing else except drinking this whiskey. It's fantastic. You do get that sort of waxy, oily texture that is typical of Deanston, and I am a big fan. This is a great whiskey. The third whiskey I'm going to talk about is the Highland Park 15-year-old Viking Heart. Now this one, I must admit, is a little bit more expensive. It's also a little bit more daring because I have gone for something with a bit of a smoky taste, but the smoky taste is subtle, and I don't think you're going to get scared off of trying peaty Scotch whiskey by trying this. Yes, I'm going to pour another dram. Now, Highland Park is based on the coast of the Orkney Islands, which means their whiskies have a great coastal influence, hopefully some salt, typically some smoke. This one is more subtle in the smoky notes, but you do definitely get it on there. I'm getting quite salty notes, as I say, it's based on the coast, so you know, those seaside vibes. There's a nice sweetness, some vanilla. This aged in European sherry seasoned casks and American oak sherry seasoned casks. So there's a nice sweetness, a nice caramel waft that you sort of get on your nose. We're gonna try it at Slancher. You definitely do get that waft of smoke on the palate. Again, it's not too overpowering, and you definitely do get the really nice sherry sweetness. There's some honey, there's some toffee, more of that salty vibe, you know, so salted caramel. This is lovely and fresh. I love smoky whiskies with meat, so I would definitely pair this smoked meat or smoked cheese. I love food pairing whiskies, so this would be something great to pair with, as I say, anything smoky or something sweet. I also love food pairing sweet things with smoky whiskies, but I can do a whole nother video on that. Let me know if that's something you would like. The ABV on this is 44%, so not too high. It's quite a good, you know, average ABV, so not too much alcohol burn. The finish has more of that salt. The lingering taste really is the salt. A great first smoky whiskey to try if you're looking for something that's not too harsh or in your face for the first one. So there we have it. That was 3 Scotch whiskies that I think every bourbon lover should try. Let me know if you do try any of these, what you think, and also if you have any recommendations, Scotches that you love, that you think would be great for people who are just dabbling in Scotch for the first time. Let me know in the comments. And if there are any other whiskies that you would recommend to me, I would love to hear that as well, so do let me know in the comments. If you are a whiskey fan, whether that's Scotch, American whiskey, bourbon, Japanese, Irish, Taiwanese, anything, make sure you subscribe to Whiskey Raiders because we have loads of great content coming on all of those categories, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.